Allison, how about you bring us into today's awkward story? Make sure you get your font big enough so that we can
I
read
was
it.
just going to say, I have to increase it to 150%. And I have to make sure my glasses are on. Okay. This one was sent in by someone. And here's what she says. Hi, guys. I love the podcast. You both give great advice. And I thought of your podcast immediately when this recent awkward situation came up. Our neighbor had her basement waterproofed a while back. In order to complete this work, the company dug at least 7-foot trenches around the perimeter of her home, which is fairly close to ours. Shortly after, it rained for a few days and they halted work. But those trenches filled up with water and just stood there, full of water for another few days. The problem is, our basement then filled up with water during the rainstorm. We dealt with it, and once the work was completed, it wasn't an issue since, knock on wood. But she recently mentioned to my husband that the same waterproofing was going to start working on that side of her home again because she was still getting water in her basement. I need to speak with her about this because if our basement floods again due to the work she's having done, someone needs to pay for the damage. We didn't say anything last time this happened. It caught us off guard, and we have a healthy relationship with our neighbor. But I have to say something about this issue to her, and I'm stumped as how or what to say. Thanks for your help.
You know, I was distracted once again by your theater kid reading of that awkward story with the perimeter hand motions that were going on there.
Perimeter. When I taught third grade, I used to have a song about the perimeter to help you remember that it's the distance around the outside of a, what is it? Object. No, it doesn't rhyme. I don't remember. It's
Clearly,
the
it wasn't a very good
perimeter.
song.
No, it was a really good song. I had
How many of those kids actually graduated? That's what I need to know.
All of them. 100% of them.
Oh, well, anyways, I was slightly distracted, but I do remember this. And earlier today, I learned that you do not have basements in Texas. I assume that you have basements in Texas because tornadoes just come through and just pick up Texas every couple of years and drop it back down. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
happened.
No, I told Chris. Chris was like, well, why don't you talk about this? Because you have a basement. And I'm like, I don't have a basement. So here's the deal that Chris didn't know. Texas soil is awful, like terrible, terrible, terrible. So especially down where I live in the Houston area, it's very clay-like. So it shifts a lot, which means that we have a lot of foundation issues. Like my parents have had their foundation fixed, like I think 2 or 3 times, and it costs like $40,000 each time. Like it is ridiculous. And then Beth Ann just said no basements in Florida because underneath, if you just keep digging, you'll just get to sand.
It's just water underneath Florida,
it's
right?
Just sand and water. Yeah. So anyway, we don't have these basements, but we do get tornadoes. When we lived up in North Texas, we got tornadoes. And I told Chris, you would just go into the bathtub and you'd pull like a mattress over yourself.
Which blew my mind.
Because a bathtub is always left behind in a tornado.
Now, is it that just happens, and so people are like, "Yeah, just get in the bathtub," and it's like not really true, or is that a real thing? Like it is a
That's
safe
like
place?
a real thing. So your goal when a tornado comes is to either get in an internal room, the most internal room you can, like a closet of some sort, or if you don't have an internal room, you go to a bathroom because you get in the bathtub. So our last house, we didn't have a good internal room, so the bathtub was the best option. And let me tell you, I taught a lot of students that lived in, there was like a really big trailer park community near us. They aren't safe at all.
Yeah, so you just pick up the whole house, right? The whole trailer's going to go.
Oh, yes. So we had up in Dallas, there were even literally like just alarms, sirens that would go off that you could hear anywhere. And they would test them every Wednesday at noon. The sirens, they test them.
Every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday at noon, they test the tornado sirens because they have to be working. And so there were tornado sirens, all the people that live in those parks would go to the hospital. And they would go take coverage in the hospital. And the hospital had to accept them.
Oh, no. This sounds horrible. This sounds like no good options. I don't like any of this.
Yeah, Logan says, kind of like standing in the doorway during an earthquake.
I heard you're not supposed to do that, right? Like, because like the frame could like collapse on you, like it go and just smash you in the doorway.
Shouldn't? Well, what are your other options?
run outside. I don't know what they say
where
like
the ground might open up.
Like we have drills here at school for earthquake drills where you get under your desk. That's what you do. You get underneath your desk and you practice tucking your whole body underneath, and like don't leave your legs or your back out. Like your head and neck and back. You try to get underneath the desk because those are your most important parts, right? So you want to protect that. But then I was always large, Allison. I was like in third grade, I was like 5'8". And so I'm trying to like get my 5'8" body under this little tiny desk made for these kids. And my body, I would lift, the desk would literally lift off the ground when I would get underneath it. I'd be wearing it like a jacket.
Like a turtle.
I was way too large, like a hermit crab.
So we had tornado drills. We have tornado drills. And that's where you file into the internal hallways and you line up against, or you go into bathrooms. They would always put the kids in bathrooms. Like when I was a teacher, I was assigned like the teacher's staff bathroom, and we had to fit like 20 kids all along the walls, and they have to sit down, like kind of like you're saying with the earthquake.
Wait, you had to sit down in the bathroom?
Yes.
On the floor?
They make them what they would do for these tornado drills, because you can't be by any windows. We are getting so sidetracked, but I promise we're going to bring it back. You have to go into the bathrooms or internal closets or internal hallways. They try to fit as many people as they can. And you have to duck like you're doing like child's pose, right? You have to put your heads down, but you have to take your hands like this, and you have to put it over your neck like this to protect your neck from anything falling on it. And that's what you do. You go into an internal area, and they do drills every like, I don't know, like twice a year or once a month or something, I think you're supposed to do. And you do that.
I really hope you go into the girls' bathroom, because nobody wants to be in the boys' bathroom.
We did that. Now, what I did when I had the kids in the bathroom is I never made them do it, because no one's coming to look and seeing if you're doing the drill correctly. They just walk down the hallways to make sure everyone's participating. But I didn't do that to my students because I was like, that's nasty.
Yeah, the bathroom floor is gross.
Yeah. So I would say, just stand here and you know what to do, right? Like, this is the position you form. And I would like tell them, like, describe it or show them in class, and then be like, okay, but like if it's real, you really have to do it.
Yeah, that's no. Like Wesley was saying, weirdly enough, in California, the mascot for my high school was a tornado. I'm like, what do we have why do we have
that's like what is it going to be, a hurricane next? like what is it, smallpox, COVID? Like why are we doing things that are destructive?
You know, so you have that power when you step on the football field. Look at these. Oh, we're gonna wipe them out. You better go get in that bathtub because we're coming.
Yeah, which is what the water said when it sunk into this caller's
Oh, yeah, let's get back on. Yeah, we're way off task. Okay, thank you for bringing it back around.
So, once again, let's bring it all the way back to this woman who's writing in, just to recap, just to, the Cliff Notes version. Girlfriend's home was flooded, her basement, because, little Cindy over there, or I don't know, her neighbor, giving them all names.
We're going to call them Cindy. Okay, little Cindy.
Little Cindy. Can we change her name to Lil Wayne? Anyway, Cindy next door, the little neighbor next door, wants to waterproof her basement. I get it. I don't want water coming in my basement. But in the process, not only does her basement floods, but so does the woman who's waterproofing. So already this company not doing a good job. Yeah, no. And look, I'm completely distracted because you called this woman little Cindy, and it reminded me. Okay, so this is way off topic again. We're going way off topic. This is what happens when you record an episode a second time. So, there's all this uproar over, right, the Little Mermaid being black, right? Yes. And I think it was Daily Show. And I think Trevor Noah was like, I don't know why people were upset that she's black. Everyone who has Lil in front of their name is black. You got Lil Wayne, you got what, Lil Yachty, all these other rappers. So of course she's gonna be black. Her name is Little Mermaid. Anyways, sidetrack. The good thing though is, I think if I remember her earlier conversation, this person, it sounds like at least there's not an issue. Are you done with that?
Oh yeah, I already finished it. I already switched to the topic. That was it.
That was it.
That was the whole thing. But anyway, so the whole thing was, this neighbor.
I was like waiting for you to finish telling the story.
That was it. It was a super. It's just my brain couldn't get over it after you said Lil Susie or whatever, Lindy Cindy. But anyways, the neighbor. The good thing is, I think they're coming at a place where there's not a lot of animosity right now. And I think it's a good place to start from. It's not like this person intentionally did this. They didn't drill a hole in your backyard and, flood your basement. They were having legitimate work done, and it sounds like the contractors did something wrong that caused your basement to flood as well. And so I think what we're, I saw a comment in there. I think what's happening is I'm so distracted. I'm so distracted right now.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
Chris is really struggling, especially when Logan is in the chat.
I read it out of the corner of my eye. I shouldn't have looked down. I saw the comment pop up.
Making fun of Chris. What we're saying is the neighbor did not have any ill intention.
Yes.
She didn't intend for this to happen. In fact, she's not even aware because the person who wrote in never informed her. So what Chris and I had talked about previously before our recording,
it is so hard to record something a second time because I want to keep referencing to what we already said, but no one heard that. So we're having to start over. Yeah,
we might lose some subscribers on this episode. But no one said we were perfect.
No.
So what we're trying to say is that what we think or is a good idea is obviously you want to alert your neighbor that, hey, this happened before. I can't go back in time and have already told you, but I'm just letting you know, hey, this happened before. I heard you're getting work done. Can I get the name of the company that you are working with? That way I can reach out to them to know what I need to do if this happens again. Because the person, the homeowner here, needs to know, what do they need to do? Do they need to contact their homeowner's insurance? Does the company have some sort of insurance plan that will cover this? They need to know the person to reach out to and have a go plan in place in case the flooding happens again. And it's not on the neighbor right here. It's on the company and fixing this problem.
Yeah, you want to approach them too, like in a respectful way, right? You don't want to go in there angry because, we've all seen that conversation where people kind of just blow up on each other because someone's angry about something. They're coming in hot already and it just turns to this whole big thing that doesn't need to be. And hopefully we don't know what this person's relationship is like. Hopefully they were good neighbors before. Uh-oh, what happened?
I'm just thinking about Logan's comment.
Basically, for people can't see it, Logan was like, that joke fell flat. It was my Little Mermaid thing I said earlier. I'm trying to forget that ever happened.
Logan's comment was better than your comment.
It's way better.
That was a burn that I just gave you.
But we don't know what this relationship is with these neighbors, right? You hope they had a good relationship prior to this. And I think what you said makes sense because you come into this looking at the person who caused the issue. It wasn't the neighbor. They didn't do anything wrong. They were just trying to they didn't want their basement flooded and they didn't realize it was going to cause your basement to flood when this happened.
And their basement to flood.
Yeah.
Again.
With this contractor who clearly did not do what they were supposed to be doing. So
this contractor needs to be fired.
Yeah, it may be. Hopefully it's not the same person, but maybe they're going to get it done for free. Like they're going to come back and fix the horrible job they did the first time. But
they should.
I think it's good to have a plan, like you said, where you go in and you're like, look, I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry at you. I just want to talk to this contractor so that way we can coordinate and figure out what we need to do so this doesn't happen again. Because I'm assuming your neighbor doesn't want your basement to flood again.
Yeah, exactly. They can also contact their own homeowner's insurance to just say like, hey, what is the protocol here? Who pays for what? What do I need to do? What do I need to have prepared in case this happens again? And they can give you some insight as well. So I think between talking to the company that's doing the work that is causing the issue, because I'm assuming that all of this is happening because of that 7-foot trench. She didn't actually say that, but I'm going to infer
it sounds like it, right? Because it flooded with water and it probably just seeped through the dirt over there.
Oh, is that what happened?
You read the story.
It wouldn't happen to here in Texas because the soil is like clay, so water doesn't seep in anywhere. It just runs off, and that's why we have flash flooding.
Yeah,
because it doesn't soak into the ground at all.
You were too busy doing your performance. You didn't remember what you said. So she said the company dug at least a 7-foot trench around the perimeter of her home shortly after it rained for a few days, and they halted work, but the trench is filled with water and stood there full of water for another few days. That's what it seemed like. They dug these trenches, they filled with water, and then the water kind of seeped into their basement since they were so close to them. Yeah,
that wouldn't happen in Texas. We have like rocks. Like when you dig a pool in your yard, they like break through rock. So it just wouldn't happen here. That's why we have flash flooding, though.
Thank you for that.
Hey, another good mascot name, Flash Flood.
How would you animate that? It wouldn't just be like a wave, a pool of a rushing.
Yeah, like a really big wave. Maybe like some cars getting taken out.
That'd be great.
A house falling down.
You could have multiple mascots being washed away by this floodwater.
There you go.
But anyways, multiple tangents here. Yes, I think your plan of action was good because you're going to the source of the problem. Because it's not the neighbor didn't do anything wrong necessarily here. The neighbor is just trying to get this fixed. And I think it's always great when you come with solutions. I think that's like a common trend with our solutions here, or with our solutions to your problems is for you to have some solutions ready when you go and talk to the other person. Because I think sometimes if someone comes to you and they're just complaining, right? They're just angry. They're just, you did this. Why did you do this? And then they have nothing else to say. They just want to yell at you or just be angry. That doesn't really help anyone. But if you're like, look, this is unfortunate. I really didn't like that this happened, but I understand things happen. Cause here's some things I would like to do to help prevent this going forward.
Yeah. I agree. So, thank you.
Again, if you didn't see if you're listening just the audio, Allison was just mocking me the entire time. But go ahead.
This has been an interesting episode. Thank you to the person who called.
Wait, hold on. What, you're done already?
I mean, look at everything we've covered. Tornadoes, hurricanes, Little Mermaid, flash flooding. We talked very briefly about the person's situation.
Yeah, we did. That's all I was like, we're done already.
Awkward encounters at conferences. What else did we discuss?
Okay.
Earthquakes.
I know it's been so long since we recorded. We're very out of practice here. But here, I'm gonna do this. How about you tell me, Allison? After your plan was to go and talk to this person, say, can I get the information for the contractor? I want to speak to them. What if this person is not a friendly person, the neighbor? Maybe they're not easy to deal with. What if they don't handle them being approached, even in a respectful way? How do you handle that?
I know exactly what I would do. I would say, okay, fine. I'll stop the contractor when I see them. Done. You don't want to give me the contractor's name? Okay, I'll wait till they come, do the work again, and then I will reach out to that company and that manager. And then I'll be like, I didn't actually need to go through you at all.
You're just doing them a courtesy.
I'm just doing you a courtesy call to let you know that this is an issue. I'm sure it won't have any impact on you financially whatsoever. I just wanted to let you know, but I'm going to go ahead and just wait for the contractors to come around, see the name on their truck, and then I'll just call them. But I would call my homeowner's insurance. I would call the company. I would express my concerns to both of them. I would get I don't know if I'd get it in writing, but I would talk to the manager of the company, the owner of the company, something to say, what's going to happen if this happens again? What are your steps? And I would get them very clearly to state what they're going to do.
Yeah, you got to get that laid out because you don't want to just be trying to scramble in the moment. Because I was thinking, I'm from a California perspective, like, oh, what are the chances it'll rain again while they're doing construction? But if you're in some other state, I guess if you're like in Texas where it just randomly rains out of nowhere, it's gonna happen. They didn't say where they are, but I guess there's so many other states where it'll just randomly rain at any point in the year, and this could be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like when we were in Florida, it was raining a lot, and Chris was like, "What is this?" And I said, "It's rain. It won't hurt you." And then he said, why does the air feel suffocating? I said, that's humidity. It will kill you.
Yeah, water doesn't just need to be in the air. It's either on the ground in like a lake or a river or the ocean, or it's in the sky falling. It doesn't need to just be suspended in the air for you to just breathe in no.
That was so California of you to say that.
Yeah, no one likes humidity, Allison. Like they try to say they do, but no one likes humidity. Come on.
You know what? My mom actually likes it.
Really?
And here's why. Yes. Here's why. She has this theory that humidity in the air allows you to have a lot of moisture in your face and then you don't wrinkle as much. And she talks about it keeps you young. She talks about like people that live in like really cold climates where the air is so dry, it really dries out their face and they wrinkle more and they have just really dry, bad skin. But living in a place with humidity is it helps her skin. So anytime it's like unbearably humid, she just thinks, thank you, humidity, for helping me have wonderful skin. And that is how my mom is. Is that not, Kathleen, summed up?
That's a very positive spin to that. That's a very positive spin. You know, also all keeps you thin and trim too, because you're constantly sweating, shedding water weight every time you step outside. So hey, you got that too.
This is true. So okay, well.
Yeah. You're gonna awkwardly end this? Go ahead. I'll let you finish it. I'm not gonna say anything. Go ahead.
Thank you to the person who wrote in. I hope that you gleaned some sort of helpful information from this. I apologize that we're a little bit off our game right now. Yeah, we'll be right back after a quick break.
What a horrible end to that segment.